Let's get this battle underway, Mojo. Kazna crew on the red side are defending, and Oops on the blue side are going to be attacking into them.
This is rather interesting. You can see Isne immediately pushing here to see is there some fast push by Oops coming on this side. And if he doesn't see any, there is a high chance he will just return and climb the mountain then rather peacefully. On the other side, Kazna is doing a full push over toward the other's A line, one line. And look at Stefan. He's in the face. He's in the face of Oops, and Oops is already backing off and gathering up the forces.
Very bold play there from Kazna crew. If you are watching and taking part in our quest, you can see that is a T-54 prototype that is available to win. All you need to do is be patient and wait for Nightbot's instructions. That's it, folks. Just chill and do what Nightbot tells you to do. Now we're looking from the RT POV here, trying to get a shot into... Well, actually, Silence was taking it. Was Haiba that RT was shooting at there at the moment. That was the POV from Insane. Haiba trying to get shots. So we see Mayland taking a bit of damage there as we're looking from the viewpoint of Haiba as Mayland. And there's a push, actually, Mojo, coming through the middle here from Oops.
Yes, there is. They already managed to climb Deha on that E1 position, you can see, so he will protect their flank. And they're using everyone else available to pressure Kazna out of the 2-cap. Isne is already using that moment, so I think he's trying to climb up. I'm not sure will they be able to spot him at the moment. If they do, it's not going to be a long career for that RU.
So a little Pikas came over and someone's connected with a shot onto Nexus here. As we see Yize making that climb, just as you said there, Mojo. And now Maylan and Silence are pushing, right up here onto Nexus. And we see Camille coming around the bottom as well. He's spotted Dares. Dares sees him now. So Spoink might go over to assist Camille and then try and get the jump onto Dares.
Well, every team at the moment has their own sort of advantage, you can say. Kazna has an advantage because they managed to climb Isne on this specific upper spot, so he will help them with sniping all the time. Yes, he has low alpha, but constant shooter, he can harass them. On the other side, the RT of Oops will work for them. Mayland is taking a lot of damage there. They're getting flanked.
Mayland peeked over, trying to get the kill onto Nexus. It was Silence who picked up the kill. Now, before that, we saw Dares trading with Camille. Camille got 2 shots into him and taking no damage in return. Oops are able to chip away at the health at the moment of Kazna crew. Kazna crew are giving as good as they get, but Oops have a slight HP advantage now, almost 1.1k now.
It's a major blow here for Kazna to lose a Nexus like this. I'm not really understand what's going on. And Haiba is tracked. Yo, only RNG saved him, but just for a second.
Deha jumping over there to get a clip out into Haiba, not able to finish him off, but the kill came in there at the back from their 113 of Milosh. Now, Oops have taken control of this map as Insane gets the kill on Stefan, and Kazna crew are down 3 tanks. They've lost 2 of their batchats and their 113. This is not looking good for them, Mojo.
Well, this is absolutely Oops round. They managed to read out the moves from Kazna very well, and even Isne on the mountain will not really change much here. Kazna is pretty much done here. Diplomat already doesn't have a commander. 1/4 of this HP is coming from a light tank, so Oops only needs to do the closure with a simultaneous approach.
Look at this. Milosh peeked around that corner and baited both Vetso and Diplomat out there into shooting him, but right into the guns of his teammates. Milosh still has all his health to play with at the moment. So does Camille as he wants to come and try and wrap around, but he has to be careful of Dare shooting at him as both Deha and Camille are taking damage there on Oops at the moment. It's not 100% over. Oops still have to play it careful, but they do have that massive gun advantage right now where it's 7 against 4.
Well, Camille did tell them that the light tank is up on a hill. They already have the crossfire. They have a superior number of the guns. Kazna cannot even support each other. You can see how Vetso fell down alone here. Diplomat will be the next. Yep, this is pretty much the Oops round.
This is a steamroller here for Oops. They lose Mayland, but right now it doesn't matter. They're the attacking team. They can sit on base 1 all they want right now. Disney and Dares will have a hell of a job trying to reset anything, and it is 6 guns to 2 at the moment, and this looks to be first round to Oops, and a very strong start from them.
This is a nice game here for them, but still, this is just at the moment tradition for Kazna, who keep their 0% in defense on steps. That really doesn't change anything because on the other side, so far they had 100%.
So Yizne just trying to pick out shots at the moment. Camille actually takes a big hit there from Dares. Looks like they might try and clip each other out. It's Camille that comes out on top. Yizne, Artie's zoning in on you, mate. It's the beginning of the end as Insane's going to let this one fly, and that's going to be good night, Yizne.
Maybe, maybe not. Oh, those lasers, man.
Oh, he missed.
Star Wars.
Yizne like Neo from the Matrix there. Oh, he took a hit, 420, no fire, but Oops have capped out and taken round 1 here on steps.
It was a pretty nice game.
Very
Fast one
smoothly
also.
done, yeah.
The good thing for them when we didn't see the moment when Nexus died. He just kind of disappeared.
And he got hit. I think he got shot. He got shot a couple of times at the start, so he was at least 2 shots into him. But then Insane just took him out when the fighting started.
Oh, I'm gonna really check out what happened there. But
You'll be able to see how many shots he took.
That was pretty much the beginning of the end for Kazna. It's gonna be rather interesting to see. Let's see. Nexus took 4 hits, so definitely one of them was a bigger hit. I mean, Kazna, yes, they try to play aggressive. We said from the start when we saw the lineup, this is going to be some kind of push for Kazna.
Yeah.
But Oops didn't take the bait. They were really shaky in some rounds and they knew how to lose them when they're pressured on steps. But in this one, this was not the case. They really displaced themselves well and they waited out, took the angles, spread out immediately all over the map. You could see how they positioned their tanks and stretched the line of Kazna, because Kazna couldn't push because of the position of Deha on E1, because he would constantly shoot them in the back. Milos, top damage dealer here in his single shooter, but not something we haven't seen many times before. He's really constant performance for Oops. And we have Deha and the Spoink coming back. He didn't play entire last week.
All 3 of us had him in our fantasy team last week, and he didn't play last week. So at least all 3 of us failed together. Yuzny actually doing the top damage there for Kazna crew in RU251, but arguably he was the last one surviving. And then Diplomat and Dares. Diplomat and Dares actually 2 of the last tanks surviving as well. So the ones that were in the fight the longest for Kazna gained damage up. I mean, look at this. Bottom 3 players there, all coming from Kazna crew. Mainland, actually one of the strongest performers usually for Oops. Actually, they're the last damage dealer.
Doesn't really matter as long as it's a win. That's how I see it. And he does have 2 kills after all. So that does matter here in
Kill
this
stealing.
case. Kill stealer.
Kill secure. Sorry, Melan. Kill secure. But hey, as long as you get the kills, damage, as long as you win, that's really all that kind of matters at the end of the day.
I think it's all about win. Like, you can go like Koritz and find the entire team die, and if your team wins,
yep, we did it. You know, that's all that matters. Points on the board. Now we're going to go to round 2. Teams are going to swap. It's going to be Kazna crew then on the attack, and we're going to see Oops on the defense. Now you said earlier Kazna crew have 0% defense.
What's 100% attack?
100% attack.
Yes.
Wow.
Of whole 2 rounds they played in attack.
Okay, so I was going to say, talk about hot and cold, but there seemed to be a bit of a... So does that mean they've not played a lot of it on defense, or is it
they played completely 3 rounds on steps so far.
Okay,
so that they didn't play
like
much.
The map they want to avoid really this season.
I don't know, maybe even other people just banned it against them, because I think Kazna actually plays it decent. Even those couple of rounds I watched, they looked well.
Okay.
Well, this one was okay in a start, but Oops was just better.
Okay. Well, let's look at the lineups and see what teams are going to bring to them in the next round here. Now, some slight variations in what we saw previously.
Well, Kazna now in attack, playing with Kranwagen and Object 140. This is rather interesting to see as an approach. And Oops playing in defense with pretty much mirror lineup, only 1 budget more.
I'll be honest, Mojo, with the Kranwagen and Object 140, that makes me think they might be going to base 2 on the right-hand side.
It's possible, but more likely for me they will go on the other side. But still, Oops, usually with this lineup you go along the rail and you just climb the roof up above you, and then you approach with the rest of the guys. And since Kazna does not have an RT piece, this Kranwagen will be a heavy problem for them.
Well, as always, Mojo, I'm completely wrong in my estimations. I was thinking that because we've seen, should I actually explained why I thought they were going to go that way. And we've seen the objects sometimes sit on that area at, I believe, D5, E5, which is really powerful and do a lot of damage, and the Kranwagen could support them and hold down. But, of course, Kazna crew are like, no, Ektar, we're actually going left. They are the red team attacking here, and Oops are the blue team that are going to defend it. And Oops have got quite a strong control already on the north side of the map.
Well, we could see Spoink do the fast boost on the mountain there. There are 2 ways to climb there. That was a faster, and he did it impeccable this time. We actually did a video today, and on that one he fell down like 3 or 4 times. So that was not the brightest moment. That was the game when he got 1 shot by RT.
Oh!
That was a poor Spoink game.
Damn.
But you can see why is Kazna actually using that object. He's a constant shooter. He has a low silhouette and a fast shooting tank. So he is in cooldown on that K line far below. He will spot any kind of rotations here for Oops, and he will be able to sustain some damage.
Milos taking a shot as he peeked there.
He probably picked too much.
Probably peeked and had his gun aimed slightly down or something, because that's not an area where you would normally be able to penetrate a Kranwagen because of its ridiculous turret armor.
Yes, if you shoot in frontal, but you can see the guy who shot him is Nexus, so that means that his
good angle
turret
on him.
was badly angled, and he shot his side.
Unlucky Milos, as we're just drifting up over the view of Nexus here to look towards Diplomat and Stefan.
In this situation, perfect for Oops would be if they had potential to climb one more bacha there on A1 position on that mountain above Deha and Insane, but you can see they're reluctant to do it because Kazna is too close and they will probably spot him and just kill him while he is attempting to do so. So smart decision actually not to do it. Also they're using active spotter Melan to see a bigger rotation on time so they can relocate their heavy tanks on time without wasting any precious moments and getting in some awkward situation.
Mayland and Yizny there spotting each other out on the minimap. As Yizny backs off and we were following the viewpoint of Mayland as he drove away from that area. It looks like Oops are setting up expecting Kazna crew to push over the rails, Mojo, but Kazna crew don't seem to be taking that bait.
But look, this for Oops, this is okay. They're rather safe here at the moment, and if they're keeping themselves unspotted, this is good. If you don't give your enemy info, they really don't know where the tanks are, they can get trapped.
Just realised as well there's been a substitution here for Oops as Silence isn't playing in this round.
Dead Zone is now.
Dead Zone's in for him, okay.
Still swapping those players around. I don't know, is that the best choice for them, but that's their business. Our is to commentate on it, right?
No, I think you have a fair point there, Mojo, because we did say we were surprised that Algo hadn't remained in the team. So, you know, will this work for Oops? Will it not? They have won round one, so maybe we are, yeah, like you're saying, we're wrong.
Theirs is in a position Deha played in the last time on E1, and this is rather slow game by both of them.
So at what point do you think we're going to get movement here from Kazna, and how do you think that they're going to actually break through, Mojo?
It's going to be rather hard for them actually to break this one. We already said they have a light tank here who is dominating over this cap, so he can spot and occasionally shoot for decap, and he can, more importantly, shoot any tanks who are trying to fight from these areas. So if Kazna actually presses there and they can put a heavy tank with binos to spot him up and then they can shoot him up, but they don't have RT, so it's not really safe. Also then Kranwagen from Oops can come in this area here and play hull down against while they're just flanking here. So I really don't think Kazna should do it because I don't see it coming well. We've seen Kazna multiple times trying to push and doing successfully, like fully from down here. If they manage to do it unspotted, and that's the keyword, that will work out. But you can see Oops tanks are already waiting for that. For me, honestly, I think they will have to do something on this side of the map with a strong push.
Well, they are grouping up over that area. It looks like Haiba's moving back from the middle road over to the rest of his teammates. Nexus is coming around the bottom as well, and they're just leaving Yuzny out on the right-hand side. So, Mojo, I think you're right here. I think Kazna are going to make a push at some point here over the rails and go for that #1 base.
I simply think the other options will hurt them much more and are kind of a blind play. Here they might take a fight one-on-one and count that the tanks in a distance, like on A5, A6, will not connect their shells the best, while there we have maybe a better focus fire here.
Now, are we seeing Yuzny trying to come in as a distraction here while Kazna get ready to make their push? Because Diplomat's leading the way. And how much attention is Oops going to give to Yuzny or ignore him while they can try and get as much shots as they can on Kazna crossing over here? And vitally, who goes first?
Vitally, if Diplomat is spotted on other side, you can 100% sure Oops will focus their whole attention there. Because you do not throw a tier 10 like that, so you could push from another side. That would not end well.
Look at the angle there from Milos with that ridiculous gun depression on the Kranwagen, able to just peek over that rails. Vetso spotted. Kazna are making their move now here as Stefan's coming in. Stefan takes the first shot there from Milos. Milos wants to peek and get another shot there. The rest of Kazna crew coming over here, and Haiba takes a lot of damages. He was the first one to crest the hill. All three of these bat chats from Haiba now Kazna going to jump onto Milos, but look at the crossfire coming back out from Oops. Kazna taking punishment across the board here, Mojo, but it looks like Oops might lose the first tank.
Of course, Milos already emptied his clip, but the problem is because Kazna still have 7 guns in the game, while Oops has a dead guy and dead zone on a half HP. B. And they have a couple of guys that are off the battle. I think Oops will actually lose more tanks because those tanks we said are not part of the battle. Those tanks, Dead Zone and the group in that area are completely off.
Diplomat still has one more shot to take. You see Stefan still had an entire clip there to take as Vetso now comes in an object, able to just spit out multiple shots from the DPN there of the object. Decha's going to go down in a minute here. What can the rest of Oops do? Kazna crew have taken damage across the board, but Diplomat still has all his health at the moment, and Oops are on the ropes. They have lost 3 tanks, and this has not gone their way at all in this fight.
They're trying to chase in Isne, and if they manage to do it, they can attempt some kind of positional play. But this was a big blunder because of them, because they expected from the far-away sniping they will be able to cover their teammates along the rail, and that's just not the fact. You can see that. You can see what happened. The brutal focused fire from the close proximity of Kazna just prevailed.
Kazna crew more or less just baited out shots before they came over there, then they could just switch out the teammates who had the most HP to then lead over on the charge. As Camille takes a parting shot in the rear, he shot and didn't really connect. As a Mayland is tracked in the middle there by Diplomat, but quickly goes out of spotting range as Camille took another shot as he backs off. He's heading after Yizne. Yizne was baiting him to come over. But look at this, Ders and Nexus are chasing him down right now as well. He's got nowhere to go at the moment. Kazna crew smell blood in the water, and they are going in for the kill. This is going to be 1-1 here, Mojo.
2 minutes 20 seconds till the end. Kazna is just spread out all over the map, and Camille definitely found a couple of people he didn't look for actually. So this will be his quick end. Yes, the Nexus kind of paid the price there for being a bit greedy, but still this leaves us with 6 Kazna players against 3 of Oops, and one of them is Poink in his RU.
Diplomat there taking a truck ton of damage though. One more shot and he goes down actually. Now, where was that coming from? As Spoink tries to get a shot into the back of him, misses. Spoink actually does connect with him, but then Diplomat removes him off the battlefield. Sorry, it was actually Camille he removed, I believe, or Dead Zone, sorry it was. As now all we have is Mayland and Spoink left against 5 tanks of Kazna crew, but Kazna crew are just going to triple cap this one out, and it'll be one hell of a hero rush to be able to bring it back in Oops' favour.
They're in no rush whatsoever, but Mayland and Spoink, I simply don't see it as a chance. They do not have the HP nor positions to deal with this.
Mayland sticked his head up out of the road there, and it got taken off by the gun line of Kazna crew. Kazna crew in return have just capped exactly as what Oops did in the round previously, and it's 1-1. Kazna crew remain undefeated on steps.
I expected something like this from the steps. 1-1 is a reasonable result between these two. But the Murovanka is coming next, and that's Kazna's domain.
Yes, Murovanka, certainly Kazna know how to clear out those bushes. They are used to trying to be cap rushed. They've done cap rushes themselves. They've done cap baits.
They simply have better understanding of the map than most of the other teams.
They have a really good understanding of it. I mean, I've never seen Kazna really look like they're struggling here, like they look terrible.
Oh yes, they did in previous seasons, but this one is not the one of those.
Season, yeah, I suppose, yeah, definitely. Now, do you think Murovanka's going to be both rounds Kazna then?
In this game, there is potential for that, but we'll still need to see the stats, who did what in this game. And there's, as you said, stepped up, and he did a carry for his team in this one. 3.6k, followed by Vetso in his single shooter, 2.6. Rather good from these two. Yep,
Ders was a top damage dealer, I believe, last time round for Kazna. One of the last players round. Actually, no, it was Yizne, because he was in the RU, but Ders was, I think, then next with Diplomat. 2 kills as well, so it's very good play from Ders in the back chat there. Decha and Mayland. Mayland one of the last surviving players for his team, but I mean, Dead Zone, only 2 shots there, 2 shots connected from 7. Need to be doing a bit better than that. Spoink as well in the RU. I mean, he fired out a lot of shots, but didn't connect with them quite so much.
Doesn't matter, that's a light tank. The point is, they left a lot of tanks that don't have very accurate guns on a distance.
Yeah.
And they cannot really connect on those kind of... I mean, you imagine the scenario. You show Haiba going over the rail. He takes a couple of shots. Yes, he's a big target, slow target.
Yeah.
And then you have like fast buzzers, like Bachats. They just hop over, and you're supposed to hit them on 400 meters plus.
Yeah, you maybe get one shot, but then they're over the rails, and then there's like a cluster of tanks, and you can't pick out the guy who's
really
on
care.
low health.
They're shooting Milos, who is 20 meters from there.
Yeah.
They're shooting Decha and whoever was next to him. He's like 50 meters away, while the guys that are supporting from Oops are shooting half a map away.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stack up.
Yeah. Good plan, just not perfectly executed in a way, I guess. They knew what Kazna were going to do, they just weren't quite fully set up to receive it, you would say.
Yeah, they were thinking, okay, we have a fire line, but they completely neglected these kind of facts.
Yep. Now, Muravanka. It's been a map of legend, if you like. Some of us have loved to commentate on it, and others have hated it, and it's gave some real interesting situations as well. So let's have a look at the lineups, Mojo, and actually see the vehicles we're going to be bringing from both teams, and if there's any surprises.
Kazna in attack, playing their favorable object for 30/2.
I do love that tank. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see Vetso on it, I think, is usually
I think
playing
it's very versatile because you can use it on both caps.
Yeah.
And it has really hard turret, and when you angle it, it's hard to pen it, so that's why they're using it. Of course, they're using E5, because with that tank you can go in cooldown and you can proxy spot the enemies, also, again, on a various sides of the map. So they're using this lineup that can actually play from both sides, forest or toward the hills.
Just which way will it be played, however, Mojo? Well, there's one way to find out. Let's go to map 2. It's all square here, 1-1. We're going into Muravanka.
Muravanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Well, no SPGs this time, as we're looking at the viewpoint of Kazna crew. They are the red side attacking here, and they're giving Yizny a little boost, as Camille is also doing the same to Decha here on Oops on the blue side.
Interesting 2-2 trains going all over the place. And rather new play by Kazna, leaving Diplomat completely alone there on A-line. That's something you don't see often, because if actually they check that corner with butt shots, they're going to annihilate him.
I was going to say, it could be perhaps cap rush base 2 here, but it looks like Dead Zone might actually spot it out if they try and rush it, but Kazna are going hard down here onto the base 2 area, Mojo, down the right-hand side.
This is not a bush teams use often, but it was used previously. It gives rather good and early warning where the enemy is coming from, but Kazna is experienced team and they actually might feel him out because of that. Do not forget, Stefan is probably the best guy in sorting out people from the bushes, and he's usually delegated from Kazna to do it.
Haiba got spotted there. Vetso and Ders looks like they're going to push Yizny all along the bottom. This looks like a particular set tactic here from Kazna, Mojo. This is not something we've seen before, really.
No, they're obviously trying
Dead Zone
to...
spotted, and he's going to go down already, Mojo. Already, Oops have lost their scout, and who gets the kill? The man you said, Stefan.
How did he position himself so he got spotted so easily? I really don't know. I mean, if Haiba spotted him from there, where was the cover fire? How did they position the tanks? You cannot position a tank to spot others if you don't have any means to shoot them. Also, while they spotted that action down there, they send no butchers in the top part of the area to check out is anything going on that one onto line. This is also not really smart by Oops, because they might have actually picked up Diplomat for free there.
Mind games within mind games, Mojo. Looks like Kazna crew has been taking a leaf out of Gohard's book.
It was a nice, interesting 2-2 down train with Isna and a couple of butchers. They obviously used him as an armor barrier there. And because a lot of teams like to make traps there, while they had a lot of focused fire with the tanks behind. But since Haiba got spotted early in the village, they knew there is someone on that H line from the bushes, because you can't spot him otherwise.
Milosh taking a big gamble here to drive forward. He has all the guns of Oops behind him, but Oops are still absolutely adamant.
It's going to be a push by Oops, 100%.
Kazna crew are doing something on base 2 here, and Kazna crew are actually wrapping around the top, and they could go into base 1 and catch Oops here with their pants down, because Oops are taking the bait that Kazna's dangling out for them, and Oops are going to get caught in a real bad crossfire in this couple of seconds.
Well, the only guy who will get 100% caught in a crossfire is Isna. He is as dead as Dodo. And one cap is not really in a great danger here. It's just not losing much health for Oops. That's the game they need to play now. This was actually a good comeback from there. This is something that was done in the old times of Muravanka when Tier 8 was played. This was actually what people did then. When you suspect any enemies rotating one side, you would do a dual push along the K line and that H line. So you would just have high numbers, and if enemy split, like this was the case, you pick up at least one guy for free, at least. Kazna sensed it, and they did say, yeah, Isne, we like you, you're a cool guy, but see ya, bro.
Next is taking some damage in the middle as Oops took a bit of damage across the board. Isne was able to get out 2 shots before he went down. But right now they've traded a tier 8 for a tier 9. And I guess if you're in Oops' position, you would kind of take that trade. Although Milosh at the moment, however, though, Mojo, damaged turret ring. He can't actually angle his turret. If somebody wants to shoot at his engine deck, he's in real trouble. Right wide open here, actually.
Well, he will be actually lucky to even... Oh, never mind, lucky. Well, I mean, turret, I wanted to say, was least of his problems.
Yeah.
Because he was spotted on the open ground. Also, turret for Kranwagen is horrible as it is when you try to turn it left and right. With the damaged one, even when it's, of course, orange, I can't even imagine. But there you go. This is like insane push here for Kazna. Last resort for Oops.
Oops, just throwing all their eggs in one basket and then diving into the gun line of Kazna as they're trying to take out Diplomat at the moment. But look at the crossfire coming in here as Insane takes lots of damage to the side. Now, Diplomat is dropped, but everywhere that an Oops tank moves, there's a Kazna gun aimed their way, and they're taking shots from every angle here. You've got a really nice crossfire from Kazna crew, the 4 tanks remaining that are shooting across here. You've got Vetso and Nexus actually right on top of each other pretty much, shooting down from the hill. And Oops, I mean, Milan still has all the health, but this is done and dusted. This one's going to Kazna crew already.
I mean, Melan will melt away together with his teammates now very soon, because that tank has no armor and is certainly not the greatest flanking tank. Kazna will remain at the moment on their 100% win ratio in Murovanka, and you can see why. They are reading the game much better than Oops is at the moment.
It's very interesting how it's gone there. The first 3 kills, they lost Dead Zone for nothing in return. Then Kazna crew lost Yizne for nothing in return. They did only get like...
not nothing in return, you cannot say that.
They got Yizne back, but then they only took 2 shots of damage. And then right after that, they lost Milosh. So, I mean, it was 3 tanks. Oops were almost forced into having to then do something.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Like, Kazna did lose Yizne, but Oops paid heavy price. Number 1, they got spotted. Kazna knew exactly they are all there. Number 2, they already did damage to Milosh. And when Oops headed back, they were already spotted, so they lost the game, actually, in that very moment. This is just something like a consequence. The game was done the moment Milosh was shot first time on the way back.
That was the deal breaker in your eyes then, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty much GG right there and then.
It's the last dying moments of Oops here as Camille can try and farm a little bit more damage for his fantasy team. Getting a shot there into Stefan, but Vetso's going to come over. He's going to finish this one off. It's actually Nexus who gets the kill. And there we have it. Oops, who started out 1-0, are now down 2-1 to Kazna.
Now will be the real problem for Oops, because this is their better side on Murovanka, and we did see how it looked. Now they will go in attack, and in attack they have only 20% win ratio, and Kazna still has those 100, and we could see like Kazna on inferior side how it looked.
Yeah.
I mean, they had about 6,000 HP surplus.
It was like fighting a sword fighter, and he's like, actually, I'm left-handed, and then puts the sword to the other hand, and you're like, ah, great.
So pretty much Kazna has a chance already to break off, but of course nothing is a done deal. They still have to win this game.
True, true. I mean, you did say beforehand, Mojo, you thought it was going to be 2-0 Kazna here on this round.
Always a possibility, yeah.
Always. You and your crystal ball, Mojo.
Yeah, shined it up for today.
Always bringing out the predictions. Do you have the batteries plugged in this time?
I'm ready for tomorrow, man.
Okay, now top damage. I'm thinking perhaps top damage came from Stefan. He seemed to be doing a lot of damage there. Or even Nexus, actually, maybe, was in a position with, I think it was Vetso right beside him up on that hill, able to get a lot of crossfire.
Definitely had the potential in his TVP to do the damage all the time. But in this kind of game, I really don't know. It can be any of them, like even theirs.
Yeah,
who had a good position.
Usually when we say this, it always tends up being somebody on the losing side as well. But no, Stefan 2.6, Haiba actually 2.6 as well in the tier 9 bat chat for 16 shots. Very nicely done there, Haiba. Dares coming in 3rd place, Mojo, 3 kills. Dares is a bit of a machine right now for Kazna crew.
Yeah, he's doing rather well. I mean, he was always a decent tier 10 player, but he's stepping up, so that's good for them. Camille doing the top damage here for Oops, but he was their last survivor, so a couple of those shots that don't even really count. Because, honestly, when the fight is done, and you are chased by enemy T, you can do whatever damage you want.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter anymore. It's
It's
just
like-
for fun.
Nothing you can really do against multiple guns. You can try and get a couple of kills just to kind of rub it in.
Yeah, it's just like kind of a bit of shooting exercise, but that's about it, and maybe to prolong
Yeah.
the length of the game.
Dead Zone got one shot off before he ran. Milosh actually only got one shot out as well, so unfortunate for both of them. And that was kind of breaking point. Oops losing complete control of the south of the map.
I have
free,
no
free
idea
kill for Milosh, wasn't it?
what really happened that Dead Zone got spotted so easily. So there can be only two possibilities. Number one, they positioned him rather bad on a position where they cannot cover him, and when Haiba just approached, he spotted him because
From
he
the
was
side, maybe, yeah.
he can spot him because maybe just proximity was
Yeah.
he was just too close, and they had no way to respond to that, and that was just a free gift. Then that was
Yeah.
the bad tactics. Number two option, and we can just judge that by if we look at the demos later, is maybe Dead Zone misplaced his tank, and some part peaked where he is not supposed to, because you can peek with the tracks left and right. That's not a problem. That's how the game works. But if part of your body is sticking out of the bushes, that gets spotted. So if he did something of that, that's just a death sentence right there and then.
Yeah, because usually the spot comes along from the bottom of the K line, and the AMX is usually at least double bushed, which makes it impossible. But maybe from where he was, there was only the bush he was in, and then just nothing else for
We
where
have a
Haiba was
part of
able
the
to get an angle.
situation that we've seen Utopia, if you remember, playing Udes, and he was not even in a bush. He was sitting in the
Sitting in
middle
the
of the
open.
nowhere, and he didn't get spotted. The Dead Zone was trying to be in the bushes, but
Yep.
never mind that.
Now here's the lineups. Kazna crew on the defense, Mojo taking double Kramwagens, and Oops, IS7 and E5. What do you expect here from Kazna crew? Or actually, more really, what do you expect from Oops?
Well, Oops does look they will play from the lower side of the map first, and then they will approach toward up, because this I7 is kind of made to go toward the K line, and then E5 approaches, and so on and so on. But Kranwagens in defense, this is a rather sturdy defense and a slow one. I believe they will make a crossfire, and one of them will probably be pushed by Butchats toward the red line, while the other one will just sit next to the hill. And they will have support by these Butchats and so on, and of course 1390 in the field. But how will Kazna actually play it out, and what cards are they holding, we need to see, because the essence of this map is reading the enemy well, positioning tanks like you do some damage while they're approaching,
Yep.
and then you do something like a fierce counterattack on time. So
Yeah.
that's the key for this map, and always was.
I think Kranwagens are a really strong choice for this map because of the way that the defensive team always kind of plays that ridge line. The only real counter we've seen to that has been a kind of semi-powerful counter was taking artillery, but again, artillery is always, pardon the pun, hit or miss. It always puts a lot of it says to the enemy team, hey, we've only got 6 guns, when it actually comes down to the real fight.
Yeah, but also, picking RT is a blind pick. So if they don't have Kranwagens, if they play with a fast lineup, you are automatically dead on Murovanka, because defender can also attack you. Like, all the picks between the teams before the game are completely blind. They are played in a training room, but when they are set by admin pick tanks and they send the lineups to admin, they just pick what they have. They don't know what are the other guys taking until that very moment. So do you have an RT? That's a gamble for one side. Do you have a 2 Kranwagens? That's your preparation for enemy team. What tactic would you want to play? And what do you think the enemy will try to do? That's completely 2 different terms.
Yep, that's always the mind game. You always think to yourself, this is a cool tactic we've got. Everything's going to work out amazing, so long as the enemy team doesn't do XYZ or pick ABC.
Which could be a perfect counter, and you can do absolutely nothing against it.
And vice versa. You can just think, like, they've played this lineup 5 times. Would they go to the same bush? Okay, guys, we're going to pick a direct counter to their tactics, and then you wipe the floor with them. But that can go bad, because Gohar tried that against Ding too many times last time they played each other.
It worked 3 first maps, but then not so much.
Ding adapted, they evolved, and then turned the tables on them.
They're just starting playing from their minds, like, okay, we're going to do this in this round, and it worked well.
I like that Ding. I like the spontaneous Ding. I think that's my favourite Ding when they're doing stuff. All teams, I love that. Like, okay, what they're doing. Okay, maybe not so much when, no offence, gunrunners, because gunrunners don't always look like they've practiced it. But, I mean, Kazna crew is certainly capable of it, and so is Oops. Will we see it here or not? Murovanka here at round 2, Mojo. Well, there's one way to find out. The teams have already started. Swank taking a little bit of damage there as Dead Zone clips into him. Now, Oops on the blue side are attacking into Kazna on the red side, and, well, Oops have taken a unusual kind of setup here, Mojo, I would say.
Setup, no, it's rather
Well,
standard, but approach
Positioning,
is fast.
approaching,
Approach is fast. You can see Spoink will try to fan out. Is anyone aggressive here from Kazna? Dead Zone is playing pretty much same as Haiba to see is there anyone close in those bushes. And they have the cover fire if someone from Kazna is trapping. So what they want is to shoot Kazna tanks if they are on the K line waiting for anything.
And Haiba in a kind of similar bush to where we saw Dead Zone earlier on, and Dead Zone in a similar position to where we saw Haiba, but Haiba, you can see that tree beside him as well, just giving him additional coverage.
So, like you can see maybe here soon on the map, Milos here with his I7. Of course, they will use him as a battering ram. He will go like this. They will try to fan out, is there anyone down doing the trap? And here he will have a perfect cooldown to play against Kazna and peek on, because that's the hardest turret. All of these guys are just giving him support till then. So is he, and so is he. Because if Kazna wanted to trap, they would have to have a couple of guys in this area here, and you could see what would that happen with them. While that is going on, they left Deha here, same as Kazna. So this is something new going on, leaving only E5, while you have the rest of the rotational tanks. What he will do later, he will approach with his heavy, using this house is probably here as a cover, because you can see they're positioned like this, and he cannot easily get shot from this area here. And once he approaches enough, he will take over here, and then they will have a crossfire from these angles here towards Stefan and Vetso, and from the tanks from the forest. That's how you chase those tanks away, and in the process, if they're good enough, they can try to see where is Haiba, somewhere in this area, this area, this area. There's so many bushes he can take, but they know he's in one of them. Once they do that, if it's successful, then they can work on pressuring the cap. It's a long process, as you can see.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoping that the enemy team kind of falls into your trap and doesn't see what you're trying to do. But as we see with a lot of examples here on Muravanka, once the defensive team has a scout in that position and he doesn't get found out fairly quick, the attacking team almost kind of gets forced into having to engage in a team fight because they know they can't cap in a certain point of time.
This is a big problem now, what we're seeing. Oops is hesitant. Milos is not spotting, but look at how slow they are playing. They are scared of traps. They are scared of mistakes. 3 minutes are already down. Only 7 to go. They have no idea where Kazna is exactly, and they certainly still don't have any plan against it. We still have to see how will they deal with Haiba, because they will just know general area of 2 squares on the map. Where is he?
Dead Zone moved from his position and got shot in the back for that because of Haiba's positioning where he could spot him. Dead Zone takes another shot there as well. 380, took 400 in the first one, and he is not completely safe from where he is. He needs to get unspotted and then move.
Oh, he is really in a bad pickle there. It's not going well here for Oops at the moment. You can see the HP slowly goes away. Yes, you can debate always. Dead Zone is only playing tier 9 budget, a baby budget. So he's on his half HP. It will not change the game much. But still, it's not the HP loss that hurts Oops at the moment most. It's 4 minutes that are lost. And they still have no bloody idea how to deal with this.
Yep, we see this happen so many times here on Muravanka that teams just move down to this area. They think to themselves, there's a scout there, guys.
But where?
And then there's no plan. There's no plan at all. The only team we've seen do anything different than this consistently is when it's Kazna crew on the attack, and this happens, and Kazna's like, okay, guys, let's start shooting at the bushes in order. And Kazna crew have a plan, they go through the bushes, and they do eventually find their scout. Or they get forced into the 4-minute rotation or the 5-minute rotation because they've done nothing, and they think, heck, guys, we have to go north now, or we have to go through the village and start a fight. And that usually never works out for the attacking team.
We are closing in on a golden middle on the 5th minute. Haiba finally picked up a shell. Maybe someone will realize, but no, they didn't see it. And you can see even Insane is missing the height of shots. Look at this. He's just a little behind the bush, and that's why they're missing him all. It's really not an accurate science. It's a hard work. They know approximate area, but if they don't kill him in next 2 minutes, only choice they will have is a blind push. This is the worst thing that can happen on Muravanka then. this is really, really not going well for them.
Dead Zone actually had an angle on him as well and put one over his shell as well. So unfortunately, the team's just aiming a bit too high there, Mojo. And yeah, there's nothing coming out from Oops. And I have to wonder at what point are they just going to give up on this side and then try to go for rotation north?
Difference is here between these two teams, beside obvious in the place. Kazna from the start, he didn't just blind shoot the bushes, as you said. They had a plan. You could see tanks are driving in order. They're doing it fast. They use Kazna as a shield. They had butchers going. They were not waiting. They had other tanks covering them. So everyone had their job, what to do, while they are checking the bushes and talking to each other. Yay, I'm spotted. No, I'm not. He must be in that quadrant there, and so on and so on. So that's like you are doing something, and you are in the same time finding out where is the enemy. So they found that zone rather fast. But Oops, on the other hand, it's really some kind of sporadic action. It's just a bad guesswork.
And here it is, Mojo. It's the 4-minute rotation as they try and plan something north of the map instead of going south. Now, Milos was able to spot some members of Kazna crew there, and he did get a connecting shot into Stefan. We can see there's damage on Haiba, but that was, as you said, the blind shot earlier on that nobody connected. Vetso following Camille and Milan through the forest here, but he won't have any shots on him. Well, Milos just distracts them, but, I mean, this is going to be too little too late, I think, from Oops. Once this fight happens, we'll be down to almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think the smartest thing for Kazna, since they saw these rotations, is actually to move away next to St. Piotr now and position them for counterattack on the other side and just ignore Milos. Because Milos is not the fastest tank in the game. If the fight starts while he arrives, it's going to be a game over.
They also have Haiba that can just say, hey guys, Milos is coming along the bottom line. Deka on Point here in the middle of the town, Deka in the E5. And look at this rotation from Kazna crew. You can see the names already moving, and Mojo, exactly as you predicted, Nexus and Colm and Piotr coming back round for the expected push from Oops. It's going to be an all or nothing here from Oops, an absolute gamble. Can he take the fight to Kazna crew? Can he just rely on individual skill to take out all the tanks from Kazna crew? Because there is no hope in hell that they're going to be able to do it with a cap.
Well, maybe there is a chance for them here because a little better focused fire, some lucky ammo rack, a lot of things make this game tick. So even those RNG moments can help team win a game. And we will see in a very short time what's going to happen.
Yep, I'd say the problem that Oops have is they don't have their single shooter IS-7, which can do a lot of damage. I mean, it's not going to be a loss of losing the IS-7, the 3090 for Kazna crew. Here comes the push as Haiba gets shot up by Milos down the bottom as he pushes in now. Insane and the rest of his crew are pushing around the top. Camille taking a massive amount of damage. Milos does get a kill there onto Haiba. Insane gets the kill on Dersh, but look at the damage that Camille's taken for this as Vetso and Diplomat play over the middle line, but that's not the main threat. This is a distraction. It's the tanks at the back that Kazna crew have to be careful of. As now Stefan is getting focused on at the moment. He might go down. He does. And Oops are actually winning this team fight, Mojo.
This is actually going rather well for them because Kranvagans don't have that best reload and accuracy. So they didn't focus out enough on the tanks. I believe they should have done the counterattack more urgently. Still, we have 4 guys from Kazna against 5 from Oops, but Milos is far away. He's closing in, and he will have great shots in their backs now. And that's why Vetso died now.
Deka gets the kill there onto Vetso as Milos comes into the battle now as well from the back of his team. Meland picking up Diplomat, and Kazna crew are actually going to lose this one. This has been a fantastic push there from Oops. They planned it well, they timed it well, and they caught Kazna crew napping.
It's not even napping, they just overwhelmed them. It was better fire, better focused fire and better angling, I would say. They took out one tank, there is, I believe, even for almost free because they just stoned him with multiple butt-shots, and then they created a cover fire that Kazna just didn't respond well to.
And look at
well
this.
Done.
Look how close it is as well. I mean, Milos and Deka are the single shooters. They're not going to be focused, but Kazna crew nearly had it. Meland on a one-shot, Dead Zone on a one-shot, Spoink on a one-shot. It was so close there for Kazna crew. Oops only surviving through the single shooter heavies there that they had left who could just soak shots and distract the guns of Kazna crew there. So very nicely done from Oops, and 2-2 Muravanka. A good result for them.
Very surprising even, because all until this late moment honestly didn't look so well. It looked like when Gunrunners played against Ding, if you remember, on Mines, and they were trying all sorts of things, and they're just getting shot left and right, and then in one moment on TeamSpeak we see Danny just said, YOLO.
Yeah.
And they won!
They won.
And they
yeah.
won! So yeah, that can work. It's part of the game.
I mean, we were building up. I was like, oh, they're going to do this, and it never goes well for the attackers. And Oops are just like, hold my beer.
There's no other choice.
And they go, and it was very nicely done. It was I think the push down the one line was probably the most effective one. They took out 2 tanks of Kazna in quick succession, and then they were able to get crossfire shots on the back of them before they had to reload.
Kranwagen are not the most accurate shooters beside being great hull-downers. I also don't understand why did Kazna keep 2 of them together? Why didn't they separate them and put one on the red line? Because that's his natural habitat, and it's really hard to dig him out from there. So if you'd have one front, one back, they would do much better in my eyes. Small mistake, maybe, but maybe it costed them a game.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it looked kind of... It was sloppy the first round. I mean, actually, this round, it was looking really rough for Oops. It's like, okay, like, what are they going to do, really? I mean, they had nothing else they could do.
Kazna even read them, man.
Yeah.
Move the tanks of time. They just lost hands on hands, man. It was just a straight fight.
Yeah, it was the individual skill, as we said. It came down to actually the focus fire and who made the shots count for them. Let's have a look at the damage done, see who came out on top for their team. Nexus going down swinging, Mojo, 3.4 there in bad chat with 13 shots. But then Deca, as we're saying, the single shooters there, E5 coming in, 3k damage, 3 kills and 10 shots. So, I mean, he was doing well there.
It was a good game for Oops, guys. 4 of them are following Nexus. And, I mean, it was a rather close game in that, but we will probably see a couple of the guys on the other side, and there we go. Haiba is not... It doesn't really matter, but still, I think he could have done more because he was alone against Milos. No one else shot him.
Yep.
He was on 2 shots for Milos. Still, he did only this damage, which is nothing. Like, he's in a light tank. He could have bought more time around that house and kept Milos out of the game. Vetso got annihilated here, and he actually managed to empty entire clip during that fight. I'm pretty sure in that. So... No, not the best positioning of those tanks then.
He was spending a lot of time trying to get shots into the top of Milos, I think, from Milos being peaked.
That's on the other side, and it doesn't really matter. What I'm saying, like when the fight actually started.
He had these 4 full shots and didn't connect.
He didn't do anything, just 1 shot.
Wow, okay. Now we are going, as you mentioned it earlier on, the map. Mines is going to be our next one. So let's have a look at those lineups, Mojo. Okay, this is quite an armored defensive lineup here from Oops.
This is a lineup that can actually push the hill, and they can provoke fight, and this is something we've actually seen them do.
We usually see a TD though. I mean, we usually always see a gorilla from Oops on defense.
Well, teams can push for the different variations. Like this is a good meat tank. If you want to take something with high alpha, you take a tier 9 Chinese because he is fast. He shoots fast, and he has armor.
Now, we see Kranwagen 113 in there as well. Now, going across to Kazna's lineup, are they going to challenge that hill, or are they just going to say, oops, you can have it?
They cannot really abandon it for free. That's the problem. But they cannot really even fight them if they come. So this is going to be a peculiar game here for Kazna at the moment.
Well, let's see how this one's going to go. It's all square 2-2. It's map number 3. We're going into Mines.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
Okay, Mojo, we are going to get a big hill fight here as Kazna crew on the red side are attacking right into the defending side of Oops on the blue.
It does look like Oops wants the fight right here in the start, and Kazna is also challenging them. Let's see, will Camille and Meland actually be spotted? This will be a crucial point. Already lost so much HP.
Spoink taking a massive amount of damage. We are getting a fight. Let's listen into the team speak here, Mojo, because I want to hear how this is going to go right now.
I can hear shots. I can hear shots.
Go.
Don't take shots. Just go down.
Something is
We hear the
on
hill.
Can we have somebody island now? Some tier 9 badge or something?
Yes, you can have me. Bacha shooting from the village. -2.
Village?
Village,
Yeah,
yes. Here is
I
a
was
Bacha.
going-
Maybe send your 9 go to island and I risk it to go here, I don't know.
They will
Yes,
go up
do
the hill
it.
in a second.
Yeah,
They will
do
go up
it.
the hill in a
They're
second.
pushing.
Going up the hill now.
They're
We need
pushing.
damage. We need damage. We need damage. Second badge also. They have both badges here. Both badges here.
Can you drop on the hill? Can you drop? How about you need to join? How about you need to join?
I don't need island.
There's use those stones. Nice.
I can give one more.
There's 2 badges in village. Second one.
Coming, Stefan, coming.
I'm
I'll
also coming
push
to him.
Hyper
I
go
for
for
clan.
Yeah,
I'm reload, I'm reload. I can use the rocks now if you
I'll
want.
go from the right, Hyper.
That's when
I'm
you
really
HP. You can go
watch
close.
out. Here's one.
One shot badge still in the back.
Shield me, shield me, shield me.
Second
shield
one
I
me.
will go around.
Next will go around.
Nice,
Just
fine.
buy time, buy time, buy
Shield
time, buy time.
Reload.
You have clan?
Yes, we will.
I can
We're
also go
seconds
around
now.
with you. I'm going around with you next.
Badges going back. Both badges going back. Nobody here anymore. Nobody here anymore.
Don't get
Piotr, can you grab and save?
10 seconds.
I will finish clan. I will finish clan. You finish
I'm
clan.
Aim shot. Aim. Nice.
I'm aiming spot.
Use it, link on me.
I have going.
I can go up for the W set. I can go.
Okay.
Nexus, I have your
I
back.
need help.
This is Piotr. I will kill him in a second. I will kill the W set at hill.
I have 2 for Milan.
Mile track.
I have 1 more. Before somebody shot.
He's -1.
2 finished.
What about?
Let Camel go
What?
on.
And that sounds a bit hectic and sometimes a bit calm, but I mean, Mojo, what went wrong for Oops there?
Blind play. We were saying that many times here, and Kazna had perfect lineup to deal with them by shooting them in a flank, honestly. Like, they couldn't really challenge the hill openly if Oops hesitated to go because Kazna had 2 TVPs and a Grille, and they were afraid if they push frontal with Bachats, and Kazna just does what they did, push the 2 Bachats and have the guys in the rest, they might lose in a start. So they chose to do a pincer around. But it didn't go well because all of the things they were doing, they were just going into the Kazna's hand. They didn't have anyone flanking, let's say, from the island side. They didn't have anyone elevated on any kind of the mountain position or whatever. They just went on and they say, okay, we're going to push and we're going to start shooting. But the Bachats on the hill were already trenched up. You could see Durs didn't even break a sweat. He's like, okay, maybe I will die, but I will do entire clip.
Yeah.
And entire Kazna team was shooting from the other side. So they, I don't know, it was just really Turkey shooting. It looked like that.
Yeah, by the time that Oops were able to get up on the hill, I mean, as we can see from the stats in just a second, we'll see the damage done there. But the time that Oops got up into the hill, I believe it was Decha and the dead zone were pretty much already dead because the 113 took a huge amount of damage from the left side pushing on the hill, and the dead zone was the one that kind of focused because he was one of the first ones to get up on the hill. So really strong play there from Kazna crew. I mean, you heard how calm it was, especially things like with Haiba saying to Diplomat to protect him, to take the shot and stuff. And I mean, you had them call out the shots. It was like, there's 1 in the town, and then it's like, no, there's 2 in the town coming round to get ready to deal with the 2 Bachats. And I mean, they already had control of the hill at that time. They'd already really punished the tanks of Oops for making that claim. And you see it, yeah, the dead zone, he got 2 shots out, only connected to 1 of them, but I mean, he was one of the first ones focused.
Honestly, the way this is going at the moment, I kind of have a feeling this will either end 5-3 for Kazna or it will go to tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's very, it's like one quick match and then it gets another kind of semi-quick match from the next one, and it's almost like Oops, I don't know, in a way, like they're not prepared for the first round, and the second round they're kind of like get things back together because they went 1-0 up in the first map and then they were down 2-1 in the second map, and now they're down again, so they're likely going to come back 3-3. I mean, that last one we just saw there looked rough.
Well, the last one they won on Murovanka, that was a desperation push.
Yeah.
They won it well, but this time it didn't work out because Kazna was just well trenched up. Everyone was together. They were shooting really simple at the enemy. They saw on time where the Bachats are. They knew by the shooting, and simply there was nothing Oops could do after that. We will see now what will they do in attack. Maybe they will be able to take some better initiative from the attack side because it suits them better. They're not really a great team when it comes to waiting part.
Yep, I mean, it's an interesting map line-out, if you like. Mines, it generally favours the top side for doing a rush, and we've seen this line-up specifically from Kazna before, haven't we?
Now we have Oops playing rather similar from the other side. 3 Bachats this time, and TVP Skoda tier 9 and T10 Russian this time, so not a VZ like they had. On the other side, Kazna again playing with their favorable eyes for heavy and even 102 Grilles in defense. Okay, this is something we already seen multiple teams play. There is a high chance one Grille will try to connect someone on the first seconds of the game.
And actually, look at this, Mojo. Already from the very start, Oops attacking, and they're going flying down the right-hand side here. They're not giving Kazna room to breathe.
This is super interesting. I want to see, will they actually spot anything on time? But they got spotted on time, and look at the connection by Grille.
Camille taking a huge shot into the side there. As Spoink and Camille now going to rush. Oh, no, they're better. They're turning around saying, actually, no, we're not going to do anything that. As Stefan runs over, and rightly so, as he was lining up shots there on Oops, and he would have took a truck ton of damage had to try to make that crossing.
Would be a tank less minimum for them, but now Isna is paying a price a bit here, but there is a high chance he will be able to run away after this. No one has elevated tank on any kind of boost. This is well for Oops actually at the moment, but Kazna has a really strict control over the village side. Isna is still spotted, and I'm not sure is he aware they still knew where he was when he faded, because they will actually be able to blind shoot this.
Spoink taking damage there for Oops Mojo as he was
Stefan
in
shot
that
him 100%.
area at F1. Now that's interesting for Stefan making that connection, because I was wanting to point out that he had a damaged gun, but he's finally now repaired it. But Nexus taking a lot of damage in the grill as well, just peeked a little bit too far forward, and Oops had that area covered. Now Oops have the positional play of the hill. Kazna crew are stuck below it. I mean, how are Oops going to approach this one, Mojo? Is it going to be one or two they focus on?
They still have better rotational tanks here. They have more mobile setup. So in that regard, they are better than Kazna. Kazna, of course, has more armor and bigger alpha on several tanks, like E100 and 2 Grilles. So if Kazna manages to see them on time coming from the water side or village side and do the damage, that's perfect. Then it's Kazna's game. If Oops manages actually to chase them away by well-placed blind shots and such things, and they just manage to storm Kazna, then of course it will be their game. That's kind of YOLO that will work.
Haiba here behind this building on the east side of the map. Very common place for tanks like the IS-4 to sit. We've seen Kramwagen sitting in there before. We saw Kazna crew actually really struggle to deal with a tank in that position, and Milos already connects with an HE shell into the face of Haiba there.
Do you remember when Nexus was trying to connect there with his grill? He missed like 15 shells in a row.
We had TeamSpeak, and he even said on TeamSpeak, I'm shooting there, nobody's there, I don't think, because I haven't connected. And he must have shot every possible angle around the tank that was there.
No, they knew there is a guy there, but he's like, am I connecting? And theirs was from the hill. He was like, no, you're not.
He even managed to put one in between the tank and the building that when we actually saw was like a tiny, tiny gap. Like, worst luck possible for him, unfortunately. I mean, Kazna crew have taken a fair whack of damage across their tanks here, Mojo, at the same time as Oops. HP is only 30 difference at the moment, actually.
That's really nothing between them. 120 HP advantage here for Oops. Still, they are on the attacking side. Again, they don't have the tier 8, so that goes well for them. There is a chance they will just find that bush where Isna is, and maybe even Piotr, because those are commonly used places on the middle of the map, and they might actually blind shoot it.
It's cheeky from Haiba. He's not even in the bush anymore.
Yeah, he's
Milos is continuing to put all these shots in front of him, and Haiba's like, yep, mate, go ahead, keep shooting there.
Well, actually, that's a smart play, because there is no one in that corner. So even if they push fast, he can sustain one shot or something to angle himself again. And why would he take any modules dead and whatever from the blind shooting?
This position where Camille is, I mean, is it possible that he can beach himself there? Or can he always get down off that?
What do you mean? He can do
Camille's sitting up on rocks right now, and it looks like almost he's beached, so it almost looks like his wheels are not in contact with the ground.
No. It's okay, like it's a normal position. He climbs himself up there, and he cannot get stuck. That's not a problem, but from there he's trying to get a connection with theirs if he peeks carelessly.
I mean, Kazna crew, defensive team here. Now, clock is currently at 5 minutes 25 seconds. If the clock runs down to 0, it's an automatic win for the defensive team. So this forces the attacking team into action. This stops any draws from happening in our game. So it stops the kind of, stalemate where teams just draw after draw after draw. It means that the attacking team has to attack, but also means that the defensive team can run down that clock if they want to, and then, force them into action.
It will be interesting to see how Oops thinks to break this one. Usually what teams do is the safest option, just push toward the village line and try to take out those tanks while they keep theirs and Stefan out of the play. For that to happen, they have to reposition tanks unspotted. I don't think they should play the water because Stefan is there and he might decap actually with his griller with HE or heat ammo. But maybe, of course, there is always an option. They will risk on it because they think everyone is on the other side of Kazna except Durs and Stefan, if they're counting on that. Then they will say, okay, we are going to risk it. We're going to leave some guys on the hill to shoot from. And then when we press down, some guys will just do the blind shooting on the bushes where Stefan is. And if that works, they might win the game.
Now, something that's interesting to me, Mojo, is the area where Spoink is on F1. That's somewhere where I remember at the start of the season, you and Daki were talking about as an area that doesn't get used quite a lot, but we saw, I think, on a Russian team using it to be able to shoot from that was tremendous because it gave him a good hull down potential. Now, Spoink is just locked into that area. He's not there by choice. It's not a position that actually gives him any kind of advantage or something like that. He's just effectively completely pinned in there because of the overwatch from Stefan and Dares keeping him spotted if he does try to move.
Yes, but there was multiple occasions he could have just left anytime he wanted. Because he did peek occasionally and he would know if he's spotted. Like he peeks and goes back before someone can shoot him. And that's it. But Dead Zone is trying to gain some speed and they're going to try to push there and kill maybe on the Durs.
Dead Zone jumps across there and Spoink took a shot and he peeked out. Stefan wasn't sure who he was going to shoot at as somebody actually bounced a shot there onto Stefan, didn't connect. It looks like it was insane from the hill. Now Dead Zone is getting shot at by Dares. Stefan's lining up a shot on him as well. Dares clips out but misses. In the Dead Zone, getting the kill on Dares. Milos peeks over here. Stefan gets the shot into him. So Oops are taking some damage for that, but vitally Oops got a kill. But now Nexus then gets the kill on Spoink, so it has gone trade for trade, bat chat for bat chat.
This is actually going well for Oops at the moment because Dead Zone killed Durs and he will be the hero for them for that. And they're already climbing a batchat from the other side.
Okay, it looks like it's about to happen here as Kazna are pushing in, so let's listen into the team speak of Oops and see if they can seal this deal.
Shot.
And I have 2 shots on me.
Decha, you should help the hill.
That's bad shot as well.
How?
Camille, you have to
Go
help
here.
Me.
I have 20 seconds reload and I'll kill Stefan. 20 seconds.
You have to help me, Camille. They're pushing me.
He's just try to survive. The on.
I need to drop.
I'm going to go for the grill in 10.
Come to the
Camille
middle,
can help
Decha.
me.
Come.
Camille, wait and kill Piotr, okay?
Okay.
I need to see the other, Camille, the other grill. Where's the other grill? Yeah, but the thing is, I can peek.
We can kill this. We have Camille. You can farm them. I should have gone more back.
I got Stefan.
Nice.
We have all the crossfire in the world.
We need to kill this grilla.
We can kill this gorilla with Camille.
Camille
can pick him. Camille, you can pick and kill him. He cannot go safe anywhere.
He's in the K1. He's Kate.
Decha,
Is he?
I got spotted. He's maybe in the bush.
Kill him, Camille. Kill him.
it's
You don't
fine.
need to push now.
Camille can kill him.
Camille
We
has
have
the
like
grilla.
1 minute 30.
I can shoot Piotr if you already.
Well, we need to kill the E100, Decha, somehow.
Camille,
We need to take kill
We
of
we cannot do this with 2.
This one's 13. Can you move up to this?
Yeah, I'm
and
moving
kill
up.
the
I'm
gorilla?
moving up.
You
I'll
have to kill the
try.
gorilla.
You cannot
Because Camille is
Guys,
fine.
I'm on reload. I'm on reload.
We have 1 minute 18.
I got spotted.
I'm loading.
And Dejan
T49, T49.
Dejan
Camille,
has to move up to
Grill
the
shot.
I'm reloading.
I'm reloading.
You have to go aggressive with those 2 tanks. Dejan, move forward, Dejan! Piotr is gonna shoot you otherwise.
I got 10 seconds. I can shoot.
T49 fuck you
Decha,
up.
stay back, don't
That's all
take
you have
hits.
to chase T49.
I'm
Kill
8 seconds.
I can kill the E100.
We shot Piotr.
Kill the Hyundai.
Manan.
You have to go for this Nyland already to kill because this is gonna run. Go for this,
T49 is
Nyland!
gonna run.
Chase Batchat. I will kill Batchat.
I'm gonna cut them off. I'm gonna cut them off in the back. Just kill Haiba.
Camille, can you do one against Kaiba?
If you will go back.
Camille, you have to.
Man, Camille, how can you miss a grill in front of you?
Myland, can you kill him?
Can you
Man,
go for
does he have
Israel,
shells?
this one?
Does he have shells? Does Piotr have shells?
I don't
I don't
know.
think so.
I'm gonna force him out. Can you kill the IS-4 somehow?
I cannot.
I have 2.
And Mojo, it looks like they might still do this. Can they get the kill on Haiba? They have 4 seconds to do it. Milos gets a shot into him, but nobody else has an angle, and Haiba is able to survive, and Kazna crew are able to pick up that round. We said it at the time, that shot from Camille against I believe it was Nexus and the grill, perhaps really vital. But I mean, the comms from Oops was a bit, not
super chaotic.
Yes, there was like, I've got it, and then somebody else, like nobody else would say like take the shot, and then I think it was Milan said I can kill the grill. Somebody else shot the grill, and then
No. Like Camille was shooting him, and he was the only one who had shots from for Nexus.
Oh, the grill. Yeah, I was talking about the E100. Sorry, on the hill there.
Yeah,
but
and
Milan's.
he did miss him, but it was a super bad angle.
Yeah,
honestly, like
difficult
you can't
shot
blame
to
him
make.
for it. But that costed them heavily because that made a domino effect. That grille that was on like 50 HP or 60 HP actually did an extra shot
Into
on Milos.
Yeah, and Milos had to then shoot him.
who would 100% be able to go push Haiba one-on-one and kill him, couldn't because of that.
Yep. And you also had the team, at least 3 people, I think, in a row were telling Decha to move when he was on that flank for ages to go to the hill. I mean, I don't know, I think maybe a bit too many cooks at the moment right now. Oops. But I mean, Meland, top damage, your 4k damage, Mojo, 14 shots, 1 kill. Dead Zone picking up 4 kills and doing 3.8 there in the bat chat. They almost had it, but yeah.
Let's face it, once Dead Zone killed on the island, it was Oops' game. They were in position to close it well. They had enough time. Yes, it was a critical time, but they had enough time. And then you could see the chaos on their TeamSpeak and lack of organization.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, certainly keep it together, guys. You know, like, you don't want to start turning on each other. That's the worst thing you can do in any situation, I think.
The thing is, like, they had a good play, and that's the important here. And it was a ballsy play even, risky one. It worked out. Like, Dead Zone actually managed to approach the unspotted and do the damage and do everything needed.
Yeah.
It was just cooperation after that kind of fell apart for Oops, and we could see the result. I mean, Haiba was literally clawing himself to that rock, and he was like, please, time, go away, go away, go away.
Count down. And the thing is you heard throughout the comms, they knew the time was ticking. And like there was the hesitation, does Call Me Piotr have any shots? And I was thinking to myself, his reload timer's not working. I don't even know if he's got shots.
Yeah, but you cannot have that.
Yeah, it's that's unfortunate. It was very close. I mean, this is one of these things where the score doesn't. Okay, they got pummeled on the first round here in Mainz, but that one was right to the wire. Haiba was a one shot, ran the clock down, and was able to just survive at the very last minute. But as we said earlier on in the stream, a win's a win. Yes. You take them how you can get them.
This is a super big problem now because they're now going on Prokhorovka where Kazna is defending and they're tilted.
Yep, I mean, hopefully they can calm things down, sort things out, but they are 4-2 down at the moment. Kazna crew with the advantage here, match point. Oops are attacking here. Now, the only slight advantage I would say that Oops have is Kazna crew are not very well known for making successful pushes down the 1-2 line on Prokhorovka.
Well, I think they gave up on the idea, especially since they have that STRV who can do all the kind of defenses. We've seen how Nexus tanked that 4.7k damage once. But of course, Oops is well aware that Kazna might attempt to use him in that position. Kazna, in my eyes, has too many heavy tanks here. E5 and I7 and then Kranwagen. I would really like to see a budget more there. So that actually might be their weakness, the lack of mobility.
Lack of mobility, yeah. I mean, they've got RUs both going for the scouts there. Oops do have the Gorilla there as well, which can pump out a chuck ton of damage. Likely going to see Mayland on that one. Now, it's... I mean, on lineups alone, I guess I would have to hand it to... I don't know, I quite like the lineup of Kazna crew, even though it's quite a heavy lineup. It looks to me like they're looking to just kind of trench in.
It's not good, man, because if the team plays well and aggressive on the other side and they manage to take the positions, they can really lure those heavy tanks to come out of their hideout. And what then? How will you cover them? You know how the heavy tanks looks like when they're shot in the side, man. Best armor, 90 degrees armor, right? Best side armor, side armor.
It's best armor, side armor. Yeah, I always usually say that when I'm watching randoms and stuff, and someone just drives out, you're like, mate, what are you doing? Like,
so,
side armor, best armor.
They have one RU light and 2 Bachats who can do the rotations around the map. That's usually okay when you want to play slow, but this can really buy them back. So something in this kind of lineup tells me that Kazna might actually try to trap somewhere. They've done it a couple of times before. We've seen it. And... this might be just an alternation of that. They actually, with this, might even try to go toward the village with most of the tanks.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, maybe it'll allow them to be quite aggressive because they're going to put faith in the armor and positioning. But then, as you're saying, they can get caught out in a real horrendous positioning and get outplayed because the vehicles just can't react quick enough.
They were often using that Kranwagen in a forward position toward the village next to the water. I'm gonna draw it up when we have
Mojo's
a chance.
crayons.
Crayons are on
My
fire.
favourite part. You need to put some more colour into them, Mojo. It's just all white at the moment.
I cannot go red because there are people who don't see the red color, you know?
What about purple?
Okay.
Bring it some purple for it. Some Unicom purple.
No. But Kazna here, I think they will go for that side. Why? Why? You want to see purple because you're not?
Yes. Yes. Or you could use blue for me. Well, maybe green then, okay.
Yellowish.
Yeah, red. I like the red ones. Tomato.
Yellow tomato crabba. But out of the old jokes, like Grille is really great because Oops can use it from the hill to dominate those positions of Kazna. And if Kazna just plays the old defense they used on Prokhorovka, it might buy them back because Oops can just predict it. That's why I said I don't like the slow lineup because once Oops realizes what Kazna is doing, they might out-rotate them.
Yeah, I mean, when you take the S-Tank, when that's sitting, you kind of think to yourself, okay, it's going to be on the red line on the 1-2 line, or it's going to be in the red line on, I think, the 7-8
Probably
area.
in the start he will go on the rail and then he'll just go back to the forest. That's how teams usually do it.
Well, let's find out. Can Kazna Crew take this one 5-2, or will Oops bring it back 4-3? We're going to find out on Muravanka.
On Muravanka.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
And here we go on Prokhorovka, Mojo.
We just renamed this.
Yeah.
From now on, this is Muravanka.
This is Muravanka, yeah.
Interesting, Oops is mainly going toward the forest side, while Kazna is doing the same. This is what I said, they might have some kind of the plan. You can see the multiple Bachats pushing the I-7 there as their front armor, because front armor is actually the best armor, and they're closely followed with STRV. And there is your 1-2 line push.
A
Ryan,
legendary
your favorite
Kazna Crew 1-2 line push as Hybus tracked. All the shots go into him. The team stops behind him. Crossfire coming in. Vetso taking a massive amount of damage. Hyba taking a huge amount of damage as well. Now Ders is getting caught in the crossfire as well. What can Kazna Crew survive of this as Oops just steamroll into the side of them? Hyba's going to go down. Ders is going to go down. But what can the rest of Kazna Crew do? That is 3 tanks for 2 tanks at the moment. And Kazna, why do you do this?
I mean, they probably just heard you and were like, okay, Ryan said, let's push, so we push. There is still that STRV Nexus on the 1 line alive, but man, there is like 5 guys from Oops there, and they're not light tanks like Izne. I mean, Izne can play it like a mosquito compared to them, but that's about it. Once they decide, they will just press Nexus and end the game. The problem is they're all in the reload at the moment, so it will take a bit.
You have Diplomat and the single shooter here in the E5. You have Stefan in the Kranwagen. If he's held down, he can do some massive damage. But then you have Nexus, who's quite immobile and needs to have the shots to shoot at, but he is pummeling Decha at the moment. So they've brought it back 4-4, and Kazna still might be able to do this, Mojo.
But Oops now will use those fast tanks we were talking about to rotate on the other side of the map. Because why would they push heavy tanks with Bachats when they can simply go on the other side and trigger the cap there, annihilate Izne, and play against Stefan?
Stefan and Yizne coming over to try and defend this. We see a lot of shots going in Yizne's direction and not connecting with them, but now they're starting to find him as one of the shots does connect there from Camille. Camille takes none, but now Stefan can shoot back into Camille. Stefan should be clipped out in just a second. He is. He's on reload. Camille's on reload as well, but look at the damage Stefan's taken back in return, and it is, Mojo, exactly as you predicted. The rotation's potentially coming in to help Kazna Crew here, but still the threat of Nexus and now Diplomat sitting hull down somewhere could be really bad.
I can't really understand what is still Oops doing there, throwing away a lot of HP. Even you could see Decha there trying to shoot an E5 constantly, instead of trying to hug the corpse of the tank since they survive to STRV. Let's see, will there be a pen? No, there is no connection here by Mayland. They should just do the rotation on the other side. Find Izne, kill him fast, and then use the fact that the heavy tanks are much blinder and less mobile, create the crossfires, then this is kind of too early. They should just abandon this.
That's actually a vital point what you're saying there, Mojo. The spotting distance could actually be really telling between these teams. I mean, you practically have to drive into Nexus to find them in the STRV there, but the Kranwagen, I mean, this is a great jump here. Can he get the connections and get the kill here? Spoink missed on the first shot. He's getting round Diplomat, though. Needs to track him, needs to carry on getting round him here, but the S-Tank has shots on Spoink. Spoink missing on Diplomat there. Goes down to Stefan as Silence comes over. Now, Stefan has got Crossfire there. There's still the threat of the Nexus there and the S-Tank getting shots, but no, Silence gets the kill there on Stefan, and it looks like Oops might bring this one out still, Mojo. It's still slightly in their favour, but this is scrappy.
Isna is spotted, otherwise I would say he would have a high chance to pick up Silence here. This was super scrappy, if you can even say. I mean, Nexus is doing whatever he can here, but there is simply not enough team players left in Kazna. There is not enough teammates left for him to deal the damage. So now it's only Isna in the light tank and him in STRV. And if Mayland actually drops more, this can be super close game. Isna can be a big decider. Amorek down.
Stefan got a connecting shot there into Mayland, and Yizny got a shot into him as well. Now Mayland is Amorak. Silence doesn't have his commander, and Camille has damaged tracks, which could potentially affect him if he goes off the wrong area and tracks himself again. This is actually starting to come back into Kazna's favour, and Yizny is going to be an absolute thorn in his side. They need to deal with him, and they need to deal with him quick without taking damage. That's the vital thing. If they take damage, they are up the creek without a paddle right now.
Oh, Isna, you are taking the risks here, but no one can help Mayland here. Mayland is a two-shot for him, and even Isna, if he's smart, he's loading an HE grenade now.
Now, where is the S-Tank? Where's Nexus going to appear from? Is he going to appear in the middle line and just have a free farm? I mean, Mayland
coming as close as he can, because if they separate themselves, he can be soloed out by Bachats. But if he's close to Isne, this is the crucial part. Isne can actually help him, because he can kill any of these guys.
He's going in
gonna
siege
throw
mode.
this. No,
He gets the kill on Mayland. Camille gets the shot into him, but Camille's not going to penetrate from that angle as Nexus is getting the shots now into Camille. This is a two-man show here for Kazna crew between Nexus and Yizny. Camille now on a one-shot 75, Silence on a one-shot 78. This one is going to be Kazna crew, Mojo. They're going to be winning this one 5-2. And I don't know what happened with Oops there, but they should have had that one. They should have had that one in those dying moments easily.
Unbelievable throw by Oops in these last two rounds. This could have easily been their match point now. Unbelievable.
Yizny playing fantastic there to bait out Oops. Oops not making the shots when they should have made the shots. They had the advantage from the start. I mean, to go over and kill that E5 like they did, they must have known the Kranwagen had shots on them. They must have known that Nexus was going to have shots on them from that E1, D1 area. It was a very bold play. I mean, you saw Nexus coming over those tracks. They had to stop to go into siege mode, but once he was able to quickly turn and take out Mayland, get two shots into Camille, and now the game is Kazna's. They're on defense, they can run down that clock, and Oops, well, is back to the drawing board, and it's another 5-2 loss.
Well, there is this Silence here, but no commander there. This is really not gonna help his case. Also, he's one shot for anyone here. Nexus or Isne equal. I mean, what is he even trying to do? Bachat without commander is like a blind, super blind.
Nexus just
he doesn't
waiting.
even see Nexus shooting. Come on.
Right now, all you're hearing from Oops is the sound of Silence. And there we have it. Kazna crew win 5-2. And that was 2 rounds back-to-back that Oops could have had. This one not so close as the last one, I would say. I mean, it was in control, but not decisive. But the score doesn't quite indicate how close the matches were or the rounds were.
But that's their problem entire season. And when you have a team such as theirs, full of talent, not performing, what will their future be then? This is the problem to think about for them, because just being there is not enough. I mean, at the moment, I don't think they will be able to catch up to any of the top 2 teams.
No, I think they have to be looking at playoffs just now.
Yes,
yeah.
They need to think about the playoffs and to sort out these problems they have in obvious failure in communication.
Yeah.
Obvious